open up your Teams, go to class notes. You can see here week 11, lecture week 11. There's the word bar. So Bitfrost fire notes. So I kind of pre-screen it for everyone. So you can just follow it step by step. You can see what the setting is, and then how to actually, basically you guys know how to connect all the nodes. You can just follow it step by step here. So we're going to start with actually starting off where to start. So you have your clean scene. I am going to put fire on a cylinder. So we're going to turn this in, we're going to burn this cylinder into a fire. So to start off, you go to Bitfrost here, the Bitfrost tank, not the Bitfrost fluid. We're done with Bitfrost fluid. So we're going to go to Bitfrost tank here. So you can have a few of this. This is like, what is this? Rigging. So this is not what we're going to use. So what we're going to use here is Bitfrost graph editor. So if you click, make sure you click on your object first, and then you click on Bitfrost graph editor. So this menu is, window should pop up. So Bitfrost is a visual programming framework for 3D graphics. So everything is node-based. It's going to be really confusing in the beginning. So after a while, you get used to it. Just like doing it with new nodes as well. First, we're going to create graph. So once you create graph, you have your input and then your output. So basically, it's the same as your. You can just move this around. So if you click on the nodes, you can see the options that it has. So basically, this just make sure this is named. The mesh is P sphere 1, which is fine because it's the only object that we have here, which is P sphere 1. So just like you push tab, and then it should pop up what node you want to create. So if you go back to our themes here, so the first one is source air and source fuel. This was what I'm talking about. You're gonna have to add stuff to make something burn. So you need your source fuel and then your source air. So two materials that you need to start burning stuff. So just tab source is, so here it is. Source air, tab again, source fuel. So we're going to just go here. Like this. So your input is your object. So V6 is the mesh. So this is what we want to burn. So just connect it to geometry. And then source fuel. It is considered a additional property. So you just connect it to additional property here. So in source fuel, if you were to open up the tab, you can see the basics, which is enable source fuel. When the fuel starts to be pumped into the fire, so we're going to start at frame 1. This is what I'm talking about, type of fuel. So different type of fuel would make different type of what? Color of the burn of your fire. So, and then you have your ignition temperature, oxygen percentage, so basically how much oxygen, burn rate, so how much oxygen is going to, and how much of that methane is going to be burned. So yeah, you can play around with the settings. later on. We're just going to follow the one that we have here, which is maintain nothing, we don't change anything. We're going to change the source air. So basically source air means this is the air. So from the fuel we add it to the air and then we add it to the container and so on and so on. So we're going to make that. So yeah, enable air source, start from frame 1. And then the geo detail size. So geo detail size is like how big the mesh or how big the fire is going to be detailed, how detailed it is. So let's just see what the setting is for us. So it's 0.02, alright? We're putting it as 0.2 because we do not want it to crash your computer. So just make it smaller. The geo offset. So basically the geo offset is just where the fire is going to start from the ball. So we want the whole ball. If we were to put it at 0, so it's going to start at half of the ball. So -1 is going to be below it. So the whole ball is going to start fire instead of just half of the ball. So next is volume offset, alright, and then liquid detail, fluid. Fluid detail is 0.1, and then the temperature is 2000. 0.1. Fog density, we're going to put it at 0 because we do not want to have like a fog created the smoke. So we want to see the actual fire. So we're going to turn that off, and then the temperature is at 2000. So the minimum to start a fire basically is 250. I have no idea why. Science guy, any idea why? Because the rest of us is not from science stream, so I'm going to have to ask the science guy, why is it has to be 250 to start a fire? Any idea? 250 degrees. So yeah, right now we want it to be spontaneous combustion, so we're going to put it at 2000. So it's going to be, if not, we're going to have to wait like an hour for it to start burning with 250 degrees. So we're going to put it at 2000 so it burns easily. And then the temperature set. We have a few options here. Subtract, add. So right now we're going to put it as set because we want to set the temperature to 2000. So set. And then smoothness, yeah, all of that. We're going to keep it the same. So that's the view. So this is how you pretty much laid it out. The connection between the input is on mesh or geometry, and then source view is additional properties. So next is simulate error. So I'm just going to create simulate arrow here. So if you click on simulate arrow, nothing happens. So what simulate arrow is just a combiner. So a place we want to put all of it together. So from the source of the air, so with the view, we're going to connect it to the source. So now our, in a sense, it's like a container where you pump everything in and then it starts combusting. So this is like where it is. So right now it has 4 options here. So the source, the polite, the influence, and the settings. So now the next one is the settings. Basically, settings that there's a few settings that you have to do. Aero combustion settings and aero solver setting. Aero combustion settings, and then aero what's the other one? Solver. Aero solver. So, aero solver is just like your nuclear settings. So that the end icon there, you have your gravity in it, your speed, everything. So it's the same thing here. You have your buoyancy, the negative 9.8, which is the gravity. And then you have your like diagnostic or everything. So yeah, you can just leave it. So you can see here, it also have step size. So you can see the step size is 5. So each frame is going to have like additional 5 calculation each one. So we're not going to do any changes here, but on the aero combustion settings, so you have aero combustion settings. So the combustion smoothness at 0.5, expansion scale. So this is thermodynamics. Anyone? Thermodynamics? So I only heard thermodynamics like movies. So I never actually know what the settings are. So like I said, Bitfrost is really technical, sciencey. So every setting is like science thing. So if you have a background in chemist, most probably you would know all of this. What does it mean, thermodynamics? So for us who don't, we just follow whatever the setting says. So expansion scale is 0.1, radiative heating 0.1, 0.75. So the cooling is 1, oxygen diffusion is 0.2. So, alright, oxygen diffusion, I know. So it's just like in your car. So how much oxygen and fuel ratio? So if it's too much oxygen, then if you look at your car, if the exhaust is like black smoke, it means that there's too much oxygen. So if there's no smoke at all, or was it the other way around? Science guy, is it true? Or was it the other way around? I think when there's too much fuel, it becomes black. Your smoke, your car exhaust is black. If it's too much air, it just turns into like white. There's actually nothing comes out of it. So this is where to get the exact balance for the oxygen and fuel ratio. So